NES 2000s version of Hawaii Five-O wasn't bad. James Caan's kid, who's about my size. Pretty good group of actors, pretty good story and plot line. Not a bad show. Used to watch it with the old grandmother-in-law. But I prefer the original 70s era, that version better. Great theme song, great montage, and McGarrett. From his compound in La Jolla, a.k.a. the plush, affluent area of San Diego, that's number 9, Mr. Drew Brees with the introduction. Yeah, you right. This is indeed New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you on a Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. I love Wide Open Wednesday. You know why? Because it's wide open. This show's wide open every day. You're always welcome. But on Wednesdays, we even give you a little extra carte blanche, a little extra time. Your thoughts. Really what Wide Open's Wednesday's about, it's wide open. You're the show producer. You're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, fire away. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. There may be a topic out there that you think is of vital importance, something that must be heard, that's very newsworthy, and maybe it's not being discussed enough. At the very least on this program, you can change that because you're the show producer on Wide Open Wednesday. Discuss away your topic du jour. We want to hear it. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Maybe there's a topic out there that's not being discussed at all, and you're like, my God, what's wrong with Corey? What's wrong with folks that are in his job, in his position, in front of the microphone? Where's the responsibility? I hear you. I'm not perfect. That's why I'm giving you the opportunity on a Wide Open Wednesday where you're literally the show producer. Trying to stay hydrated in this summer heat. 766-9480 is the phone number. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 766-9480. Yeah, you're right. Only about 91 degrees, only about 100. Catching a little break from that 97, 98, 99 oppressive heat. It's still hot outside, don't kid yourself. But more like New Orleans routine summer heat, not this crazy stuff we've had the last few days. But it's supposed to stick around through the weekend. Highs tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 97, 98 degrees. And you know what that feels like temperature? We get around $110. No matter how you cut it, 8, 10, 12 degrees. Feels like hotter, basically, than our normal low to mid-90s temperatures. Anyway, this heat advisory, this excessive heat warning, it's not going on right now because the temperature dropped to 91, but it was going on earlier today. I'm certain it'll pop back up over the next few days if these weather heat trends continue. Got a full slate for you on this Wide Open Wednesday, including a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Yeah, you right. I love giving away 50 big bucks at the city's premier day spa. Lots of locations, 5 to be exact in the area. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore. They're by Baton Rouge, by the Mall of Louisiana. I asked the question about Southport Hall. That's at the Parish Line and River Road. Original use, casino. How about the building down the block, the Salvation Army store? Parish Line at Jefferson Highway. What was its original use? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Yeah, you right. Louisiana born and raised blues legend who has made Chicago his home for 65 plus years, has a club named after him. He made 87 years old back on Monday, still performing. A Chicago blues legend, a Louisiana blues legend. He actually worked at LSU in Baton Rouge for a little while. Who are we talking about? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. Hey, by the way, no Google, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, Bing, whatever search engine you use. No search engines, no internet device. None of that. You either know the answer or you don't on any of our trivia questions. No cheating. Hey, where does the mighty Mississippi River start? Where does the mighty Mississippi River start? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. World's oldest continuously operating streetcar line. I'm looking for the specific streetcar line. World's oldest continuously operated streetcar line. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504, your area code down here in the Crescent City, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. A lot going on, including that law going into effect. This is so strange to me. As a Catholic boy, born and raised in New Orleans, Christian, a believer in faith, Jesus Christ, God is my guy. Louisiana public classrooms from pre-K, like nursery school through LSU law school, LSU grad programs. You could be at the vet school at LSU. You could be in Coates Hall or any of the new classroom buildings. State law. The sign must be 11 inches by 14 inches. In God we trust. In all public school classroom buildings, from pre-K to LSU. In God we trust. You think I'd be ecstatic about that because I have faith. I have a belief in faith in Jesus Christ. That's my personal belief, my faith, my choice. I'm not hiding from it, but also I'm not pushing it on you. If you're a different religion, atheist, agnostic, good for you. As long as you're a good person with ethics, integrity, morals, you try to do the best you can do. You try to be a good person. I got no problem with you. In God we trust. Why? Why would Louisiana, make this a state law and so specific? Sign must be 11 by 14 inches. Do you know how many years and how many House reps and state senators I've talked to? And I have no tie to the seafood industry in the least bit. Don't have friends that work in it. Don't have fishermen friends that do it professionally. I have acquaintances. Don't have anyone that sells it directly, just acquaintances. No money in my pocket, no interest, obviously, because that's how I always operate. But I'm a South Louisiana boy, New Orleans born and raised, 25% Cajun blood running through my veins. I'm a Louisiana boy. The seafood industry, the best in the world. I respect the hardworking fishermen of South Louisiana that bust their tail and get screwed over way too often. I have been pushing for years now on this program and directly with House reps and senators. No one biting on this. It is mind-blowing. Obviously, a lobbying group that gives them money, I guess. On any seafood item sold, first off, the law about restaurants telling you where the seafood comes in, it is fully ignored. Fully ignored. I doubt this in God we trust law will be ignored for a minute. There'll be a religious zealot in a classroom that'll call it out. The sign will go up the next day in Louisiana. Pothole in New Orleans, 200 plus days before it's filled. Even the laws we have aren't followed. The seafood industry, any item from out of state and most definitely out of the country, the state or country of origin on the label with a sticker, the font size equal to the largest font size on the label, ignored. But this 11 by 14 In God We Trust embraced.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NolaAC.com is your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant in Elmwood, is hiring. Their 80-plus acre facility under the UEP Long Bridge, about 1,200 plus employees. All they do is continue to grow worldwide, and they're hiring in Elmwood. As a matter of fact, they have an I-12 facility on the North Shore. They're hiring there as well. East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Latrim's got a job for you, a career for you. A culture of innovation at Latrim. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. On the way to work, I decided to do some stunt driving, a little drifting. I did it right in front of the high rise on the I-10, closed things down for about 15 minutes, but hey, man, I was having a good time doing the stunt driving. And since law enforcement in New Orleans is a little lax on this, I decided to fire some 9mm rounds in the air as I drove off. New Orleans City Councilman Eugene Green joins us live on the program. That was me, Eugene.
Was that you on Saturday night?
No, it wasn't me any of those times. Jeez and Pete's. It is a little crazy. How you doing, Eugene?
Oh, just doing fine, doing fine. Of course, it's a busy time for the council. Good issues going on, especially in my district, people building new houses and also a couple of new businesses opening. But then there are always the ongoing challenges, such as the challenge of Saturday night, when some guys who acted as if they had nothing else to do in the world decide to take over an intersection gentilly at Elysian Fields and just rev their cars up and run them around and around in a circle, creating smoke near people who were watching, so that if one of the cars got out of hand, it would kill the spectators as it killed them in other cities. It's one of the more ridiculous things that people do with their cars, or some people do with their cars. And also, it's also ridiculous for somebody to stand nearby, as you can see from the tape. If anybody wants to go and kind of look it up, you can do a Google search of Elysian Fields and stunt driving, and it'll come up eventually. Who stands near that when it's happening that way? Who puts their life on the line to just see somebody going around and around in a circle? I've been young, but I've never been that dumb. I don't really understand exactly what's going on, but it needs to be punished. And that's my issue, that at the end of the day, the city needs to be more efficient between the district attorney's office and also the city of New Orleans. We need to address those issues.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Eugene, thinking about it and trying to figure it out is a waste of time. It's just mindless, kind of childlike behavior. I have some acquaintances I know at a restaurant that I go to. They're about 21 years old. They've done it before. They're in their vehicle. Oh, you take it off of, you go into the manual shifting mode, you leave it in first gear, and you just punch it till you're redlining. And I talked about what's the point. I was asking the questions like what's the fun? You must go through tires. He's like, oh, laughing. Yeah, we go through a lot of tires. So, it is mindless ridiculousness. But what I worry about, Eugene, is I made a joke. I'm at the foot of the high rise doing it. That happened. At the foot of the high rise. What I'm worried about is some guy in a truck jacked up with a big old bumper that doesn't have any patience or regard for anyone, just like the people doing the stunt driving. Even worse, maybe with a firearm, either unloading the gun at the car doing the stunt driving or ramming the vehicle doing the stunt driving. I think that is inevitable, that is going to happen, where someone's going to be like, I'm not tolerating this stopping me, a citizen, from getting from point A to point B. I'm going to take this into my own hands.
Well, Corey, those guys don't think about that. When they did the takeover of New Orleans back last summer, you saw them waving guns outside of their windows. They're coming there looking for that kind of trouble. What I'm concerned about, for example, is on Saturday night, an elderly citizen who might have had to go to that drugstore that was at that corner couldn't get in and couldn't get out, couldn't get to their medication that they needed. We know a couple of people on the street who were scared and couldn't go out of their house. And you saw the television article of someone who was stuck in his business who has been robbed before. It's terrorism in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't want to equate it with the international.
No, but you're right. You're right.
But,
it's the same concept.
You're stopping people from coming out of their house. You're stopping them from going into stores and leaving stores. You're stopping people from passing. You don't know why they're trying to go the way that they're trying to go. But you got to recognize, Corey, that's why there can be no sympathy for this, because it's done that way on purpose. There are other places in our city where you could find a way to go around and around a circle at an intersection, and you wouldn't interrupt as many people as you interrupted on Saturday night by doing that, or other instances where it's been done. But the real reason that not the real reason, but one of the reasons that we really need to crack down on it as a city and take it very seriously, and also I call on the state, because that was a state highway, because somebody is going to be killed. One of those spectators is going to be killed. It's happened in the past in other cities, 2 at a time in some instances. One of those cars is going to flip over and kill someone. And because we know it's going to happen, you just know we have to really make sure that the ordinance that I introduced and got passed by the council unanimously, and also the laws that exist on a state level, are just enforced. All we ask is that they be enforced.
No,
so
you're right.
I'm asking this.
Confiscate the vehicle. Take the vehicle away. You're so right, Eugene, on everything you say. It is inevitable that someone's going to get hurt. I saw the woman where they were doing it on, this is months ago, maybe a year ago, on like Bourbon Street and Canal. And that woman kind of got in the way and the quarter panel just clocked her. She was so drunk. She flew like 10 feet in the air, landed on the ground, got up, brushed herself off, and kept dancing. But I guarantee you, the next day she was sore as hell if she didn't have like a broken bone somewhere in her body. No, she could have been crushed by the vehicle, a vehicle flipping. These aren't professionals. These are kids that just sort of have fun doing this gimmick. And another point you make, which is so valid, I think if they were like out in the old Plaza Shopping Center parking lot doing it, it would be boring after 5 minutes. There's some part about breaking the law, inconveniencing people, taking over an intersection, all of that adds to it. And that none of that can be tolerated.
Right. It can't be tolerated. It can't be understood. Somebody said, it's because they don't have anything else to do. They have tons of other things to do. For example, they were on the internet communicating with each other to get them there at that spot. You could have communicated, say, let's go and sit on the lakefront and just enjoy ourselves by talking to each other and running around playing some volleyball or whatever you want to do at 10 o'clock at night.
And most of these people aren't stolen vehicles, Eugene, so they have the means to own the vehicle.
They have the means to own the vehicles. And again, there's a vehicle that's with them that replaces the tires if it goes out.
Yeah, it's unreal. They got rims and tires and jacks, a van ready, like a pit crew.
Right. It's one of the most nonsensical things that someone can do with a vehicle. But at the end of the day, Corey, we just want to, people have a right to live in peace. And people who were driving at Legion Fields back toward their home, or Gentilly Boulevard back toward their home, the people who were in their houses who were terrorized. There was even a guy who was kind of unhoused who was in the middle of this, very honestly, because they were going around and around in the area where he was. Everybody deserves to enjoy themselves without other people imposing upon them. Whether you get a charge out of this sort of vehicle destruction and destruction of the road. Because let me add this too. It was a state highway that had just been paved over. That was one of the exciting things to those who were participating, that they could destroy a newly smooth state highway. And I'm calling on the state police, and I'm calling on the State Department of Transportation and Development to look into this incident and to treat it the way it is, a destructive incident.
And now if you're going to be a bystander, be in a safe spot and shoot some video, get a license plate, get some facial video. But ideally stay away from that and don't participate in that and don't be a fan of that. Yeah, it's out of control.
My ordinance calls for a penalty for those who are actually watching, because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to lessen the excitement for the people who are just out of control. And one way to do that is to lessen the size of the crowd.
Yep.
So I'm also telling you that it's not legal for you to use the internet and social media to plan an unlawful event. So there might even be federal involvement with this.
Wow.
I just want to appeal to those who do that to recognize, take your beautiful vehicles and go and sit on the lakefront, go and sit somewhere near or in City Park and enjoy and let everybody see your vehicle. You don't have to intimidate others. And that's all you're doing when you block an intersection. You're doing it because you want to intimidate others around you. And that can't be tolerated. And I think in this particular instance, with the local, state, and even potential federal involvement, with them doing it so near a camera, and with there being so much video and license plates and faces being recognized as they were scattering away like roaches when they saw the police cars coming. The bottom line is that there's going to be some repercussions for this. I just want to encourage the young people and the middle-aged people who are doing this, because look, these aren't 15 and 16 years old, like you said. They're people that you know who just say that gives them some sort of charge, charge to disrupt others. You're going to be caught. You're going to pay a price. Now your faces are all over television. Who wants that? Go and do something else with your time.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Eugene, I got about a minute before our break. How about a 3 strikes on tinted windows? I mean, there's a law. It's clear. No pun intended. First strike, you get a ticket, $150. Second strike, you get a large ticket, like $500, $750. Third strike, there's the third strike where someone's pulled you over and it's about your tinted windows. You repossess the vehicle.
We have the issues of if it can be enforced, we'll enforce it. There's always going to be a challenge on a legal standpoint. If it could meet legal muster or something like that, then I think that it is a fine thing, because by the time you do it the third time, you're just deciding that you don't care. About not only your own safety, but everybody else's safety.
Exactly.
So, 3 times, it may have to be twice. At the end of the day, you know what they meant when they said your tint is too dark. Go and get it tinted a different way. We have a lot of incidents involving shootings that I think take place partially because you can't recognize who's in the car.
That's exactly right.
That's purposely done. But they also make it so dark as you're driving. I don't even understand, honestly, how you get a charge out of that driving at night.
No, I don't get it either. Now, here's the sad part. You'll have to start with city-owned vehicles with a public plate. I saw one yesterday, like a brand new Tahoe. I let him through, and I'm like, I can't even see who it is. Man, girl, old, young, 10 people in the car, 1 person in the car. And then I see it's a public plate, and it's got an illegal tint. Hey, Eugene, hang on. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back. Get your thoughts on this NOPD police chief search. Corey Johnson with you. Eugene Green, councilman's with us too.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line. Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks from company changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
New Orleans City Councilman Eugene Green, District D, joins us. What's that, Eugene? Lakefront, Lakeview, Mid-City, Gentilly, Treme, even a little bit on the east side of the Industrial Waterway, right?
Yes, the Pines Village subdivision and, basically Downman Road to I-10, Payne Boulevard, the Chef Highway. So that area, the larger Pines Village, Malia community. It also includes the Ninth Ward, the Desire, Florida area, and some areas of the DeSay the Say community. So it kind of spreads out in the middle of the city.
Yep.
And it's a very interesting district. It includes 8 high schools and also includes 4 schools of higher education, universities, and the Baptist Theological Seminary. So it's a great district to represent.
Is it the largest population district of all?
It is. It's the largest population district, and there's going to be some redistricting that was required because of that, because of the one man, one vote sort of rule.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the Treme community, which I didn't mention, and I should always mention, but the Treme community, which is in the district, some of it will be moved to another district to make that population even out.
Yeah,
but
it makes
is
sense.
The largest district at this time, and I'm also pleased with all of the development that's taking place, new businesses opening up, a lot of new houses under construction, people who are confident about the future of the city. That's good news.
Hey, Eugene, your peers on the council, the president, the vice president specifically, J.P. Morrell, Helena Moreno, very outspoken about this NOPD chief search process. There appears to be nothing that's giving anyone any confidence in this search. The more we find out, the less confidence there is, especially the no negatives from the candidates until this point. You narrow down the list with only using the positives and no negatives. That's mind-blowing to me, especially candidates that maybe have no negatives. The number 1 ranked candidate after all of this, the number 1 ranked candidate was basically let go from not one, but his last 2 jobs in an unsatisfactory light. Off duty, he got into a fight at a bar and shot and killed someone and was found not guilty. And the latest and greatest, he applied for several jobs and never got them, including the Victoria, Texas chief job, which has a population of 65,000. So I would clearly say 2 things. That's the best we can do. And second, this process has been terrible. What are your thoughts?
Well, Corey, I do want to take an opportunity to say this. We can have the strongest police chief in the world, someone who has all the experience in the world. But if the rest of our criminal justice system doesn't work well,
yep,
and it should be working a lot better than it is right now,
yep,
the police making arrests, the police being efficient, constitutional policing will not mean much. So I do want to, because your show is so widely listened to, I just want to put in that plug that whoever is the police chief, it's important to recognize that we have to have a stronger criminal justice system in many respects. We can't have such a small percentage of people who are found guilty as charged or who even charged after they're arrested by the police. The police make 3,600 arrests last year, 1,800 arrests for violent criminals. And if you just, for alleged violent crimes, if you just look at those numbers, they're a little bit disheartening in terms of the overall prosecution of keeping our city safer.
Yep.
Hey, Corey, I appreciate this opportunity to talk with you. I want to also put in a plug, and I want to thank the members of the New Orleans Police Department who recently made arrest of 2 dangerous individuals in my district after following them from the scene of a murder using license plate reading technology. And last year, I passed that ordinance, which was made available with the support of 3 other council members, which made license plate reading technology available and facial recognition technology available, giving the police department the tools that they need to do better. And our police made an arrest in a case that involves 2 alleged murderers using that technology. Technology is good. And for those out there who want to turn it around and say the police don't use certain technology, so it means they don't need it, they need every tool possible, and they will use it when it is necessary. They have not abused that technology. Now, as far as the chief is concerned, I think that's my reaction in general relative to the chief. We have to have a functioning criminal justice system. There certainly needs to be a greater sharing of information as to how they reach certain conclusions. But, I've been a little bit behind the scenes, just involved with criminal activities and involved with quality of life issues, because I, as a council member, have been told by voters to make the final decision after the mayor presents someone to us.
Yep.
I'm very careful not to influence who that final decision maker is. Who that final decision related candidate is going to be. Then I'm voting on somebody that I've actually pushed into that position. So I recognize that it's not as great a process as it should have been right now, but I'm looking forward to reviewing the qualifications and asking questions of that final nominee that is put forward by the mayor. We want to have the most open process as possible, but it's important to recognize that we have the power to make the final decision. So we'll be able to ask as many questions as we want of the person who is put forth to us by the mayor.
Boy, I think you bring up a great point, your first point going into that. The NOPD, you could have Jesus as the chief. People get arrested, they got for violent crime, and they're criminals and they're guilty, they need to go to jail. These magistrates and judges, some of them, Eugene, with just this, seems like more of a concern for the criminal than the citizen. The district attorney, all these groups, and I'm missing some. I'm sure it's beyond just the NOPD, the DA, the magistrates, and the judges. Everybody's got to be on the exact same page with the exact same objective, right?
Right. And Corey, and some things are kind of simple. How many people were arrested over Mardi Gras for bringing guns to the French Quarter, concealing them below their shirts and having concealed weapons, and they were let go within 24 hours or 40 hours or whatever it is? At the end of the day, police make dangerous arrests every time they arrest someone who has a gun or they search someone who has a gun. You got to eventually reward them with having some sort of justice system that recognizes the risk that they take to keep us safe. There's a lot to be done, but I will tell you, the police chief is just the beginning. The criminal justice system must have more compassion for victims and also more desire to keep our streets safe by being real about the possibilities that happen when people aren't held accountable for what they do.
No.
And that brings it back to why you originally started with me.
Yep.
Because on Saturday night, those guys felt that there was no repercussion for what they do.
Oh, when we're talking about the stunt driving, they come from other parishes, other states, Texas, knowing they can go into Orleans Parish and get away with it, that it is accepted behavior, that the cops aren't going to do anything. That they're not doing it in Jefferson. They're not doing it in Plaquemine or St. Bernard. They're not doing it in these rural parishes because there's zero tolerance for that crap.
Right, Corey, but I do want to say this. I got to defend the police again and say this, because I know what you meant by that expression, but it's not that the cops don't want to do anything, but if you're prohibited from going after someone because it's a traffic violation, if you can't pursue, if you also recognize that you're dealing with situations where you arrest someone and they're going to be out very soon thereafter, you only do so much. And those officers who turned on their lights and went into the middle of that community, of that group of people who were doing the stunt driving and made them move on, they took risks doing that.
They put their lives at risk. They could have been just grabbed by the mob and killed. You're totally right, Eugene. You have no idea what these kids are going to do or what influencer. And they could be drinking, drugged up by that time. And then all of a sudden, one person does something stupid and then the momentum goes and all of a sudden they're yanking these cops out of their cars. No, you're right. Hell, if I'm a cop, I don't know if I'm by myself, I have no backup, or it's just me and one other guy or girl. I don't know if I'm going in the middle of that and stopping that when there's 500 people surrounding it, 20 cars doing stunts, firearms everywhere.
You remember last summer how at least one clown was jumping up and down on the top of a cop car, daring that cop car to pull off fast so that he might fall and break a nail, something like that. But at the end of the day, that cop was professional, and our members of our police department make very professional constitutional arrests on a regular basis, and we don't hear much about it because they're doing the job correctly. But the whole system needs to work better if we're going to be able to curb some of this crime. But that notwithstanding, I will tell you, there are some areas in which crime is down in our city. It doesn't seem like it because of the headlines, but because we blame the police when the crime rate goes up, I want to applaud them for the fact that murders, armed robberies, and carjackings are down compared to this time last year. So we got to give some sort of rewards and some sort of recognition where it's due, Yep.
No, totally agreed. Hey, any final thoughts, Eugene, on District D or anything you'd like to mention before we do it again another day?
Well, I look forward to talking to you again. On the other side, Corey, there's been new businesses opening up, such as Canseco's grocery store, a $5 million investment. We have a new facility.
Now, where's that Canseco's? Behind the old one on Elysian Fields and what's that, Franklin?
It's on Fillmore. Elysian Fields.
Yep.
And Mr. Canseco's, who owns multiple grocery stores, feels strong enough about the city of New Orleans and the District D community that he invested $5 million in a new grocery store. Go take a look at it, especially his prepared foods menu is tremendous. But we see a new housing construction going on in many places in the city. So where there is some bad news, certainly, I'm one of those who tells you that there's a lot of good news. I raised my 3 children here in the city of New Orleans. They're all college graduates. One is in medical school. One is on his way to law school. We all enjoy the city of New Orleans. We wish it were better. And that's part of the reason that I serve, to enhance the quality of life in whatever way I can to make sure we have a safer city. So we're moving in the right direction in some respects. I just want some of those people who are hell-bent on causing chaos, such as on Saturday, and engaging in criminal activity, to recognize that there are so many alternatives out there to doing that, so many jobs, so much recreation here in the city. Do something else other than criminal activity.
Eugene Green, Councilman District D, always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
All right, I'll look forward to talking to you again, Corey. Thanks for calling.
Most definitely. Eugene Green, New Orleans City Councilman. He's talking about that new Canseco's right down the street, Franklin and Fillmore, Young's Dry Cleaning and their restoration department, their headquarters. You need rugs, runners, drapes, linens cleaned? youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread. Hey, in 8 short minutes, they open their doors for the evening for dinner. I'm talking about Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. New Orleans-inspired Sicilian and Italian. You won't be disappointed. Who doesn't love fantastic Italian? The problem is we've got a lot of mediocre to not so good Italian in Metro New Orleans. There are a handful of good spots, like Irene's in the Quarter, like Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Parking right in front, easy in and out, great service. You can sit at the bar and check out some sports action, dine in the air-conditioned, chilling dining room. Sicilian and Italian at its best, Fausto's Italian Bistro for dinner. They open in 6.5 minutes, 5 to 9 p.m. tonight for dinner at Fausto's. Louisiana public classrooms from pre-K all the way to LSU. In God we trust signs in every classroom. The law used to be every classroom building had to have it, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. There are tens of thousands of, there are thousands of buildings. Thousands, tens of thousands of classroom buildings on every public university, every public high school in Louisiana, tens of thousands of buildings. Classrooms, there might be 100,000 classrooms in New Orleans. In Louisiana. I have no idea how many classrooms there are in public schools from kindergarten through LSU. All I know is I want the contract. I want to find out who has the state contract for the 11-inch by 14-inch sign, In God We Trust. Who has that contract to make those signs for the state? I want that deal. I want that contract. My God, if you made a few bucks a sign, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't get it. Why? Something I've been talking about for about a decade on this show. I've literally presented it to several state senators. There's only 39 of them. To about a dozen House reps. There's 105 of them over the last decade. Hey, guys, seafood industry. I mean, first off, I was always discussing the restaurant should have where the seafood comes from. They make that law. They don't enforce it. I mean, how many restaurants outside of Brightson's, a handful of others, tell you where the seafood comes from on the menu? 99% don't, because they don't want you knowing it's Taiwanese shrimp or Chinese crawfish or tilapia, not speckled trout, or farm-raised this or farm-raised that. The restaurateur doesn't want you to know, so he avoids the law and serves you an inferior product. So I was pushing that. That finally becomes law. It's not enforced at all, and restaurants ignore it mostly, especially the ones scamming you. The second thing I proposed a decade ago, and no one's touching it. Any seafood you're buying, and it's because of the proactive way the Chinese crawfish and other imports have been acting. I remember Chinese crawfish 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, the first time they came into Louisiana. It was in a bag with Chinese writing all over it. I mean, you barely could see the word crawfish on the label. It was all in Chinese. Then all of a sudden they got smart. Now there's like Bernard's and like Cajun names. And they make it look like it's a local product. And in very small print, you have to hunt through the bag. You might find made in China, product of China. But they're trying to fool you. And a lot of Louisiana folks, we want to be fooled. We know better, but we want to believe. We hope it's true. Hey, it's $6 a pound instead of 14. So I was proposing real simple on any container of seafood sold in Louisiana that is brought in from another state. It could be a quality product like crab meat from Alabama, which is pretty good. Could be rock shrimp from Florida or royal red shrimp. It's got to say product of Florida, product of Alabama. A stick-on label, hand placed on that container, and the font size that says product of Alabama, or more importantly, product of China, product of Taiwan, wherever. That font size of that sticker, the font size of the writing has to be equal to the largest font size on the packaging. So you have this package that says Bernard's, and that font size is an inch tall. Then the sticker has an inch tall font saying made in China. But for some reason, Louisiana folks that represent us, that represent the seafood industry, these fishermen, these shrimpers, these crabbers, these oystermen, they're being ignored. And our legislators are getting paid off, I don't know, by the locals that bring in the crap from China, the crap from out of state, the stuff from other countries. They're getting paid off from the other countries. They're getting paid off by some lobbying group and refuse to embrace this. But they embrace "In God We Trust" must be an 11-inch by 14-inch sign in every classroom in the state, from kindergarten through LSU grad school. Absolutely insane. I don't know about you. I have faith. That's my choice. If you have faith, great. If you don't, that's fine too. That's your choice. But I believe in God. I'm a Christian, to be specific, Catholic. Jesus Christ is my God. My God doesn't want "In God We Trust" on a sign in every classroom in every public school in Louisiana. My God is not that insecure. my God, doesn't need the advertisement in every public school classroom, like we're influencing growing children in their mind by injecting this God thing in. Can't hurt. Well, as an American faith believer in Jesus Christ, it's unconstitutional. And it's a typical Louisiana gimmick that is a waste of our time. 5 o'clock powwow next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store.
Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hey, we're showing a full season of Dallas where Bobby left the program, and the episode where he returns, and the whole last season was just a dream. Boy, that goes in the Coke changing their formula, Fonzie jumping the shark category. Bobby Ewing leaves Dallas, wants to come back to the show a year later. They claim the entire season he was gone was a dream. All right, no Dallas, no Cliff Barnes, no J.R. Ewing. Instead, it's the neutral ground with me, Corey Johnson, with you till 6 o'clock. Yeah, you right. They call this hour on a wide open Wednesday and every weekday, the 5 o'clock power hour. Thanks for joining us on this wide open Wednesday, where you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, nothing's off limits. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. How can I be a man of faith, a believer in God? Jesus Christ is my man. I really respect all of that. Yet I think it is utterly ridiculous that in the state of Louisiana, a law went into effect today where every nursery school, pre-K through elementary school, middle school, high school, into college, graduate degree programs at LSU, wherever, Grambling. Not every classroom building. That was the law, and that was a ridiculous law. But every classroom in every classroom building, every single classroom has to have an 11-inch by 14-inch sign. Like they got into the specifics of the size of the sign. This is what our lawmakers do in Baton Rouge. The sign has to say, "In God we trust." You know what's special about American freedom? It's not easy. It's hard. It's not free. But it is the best example of freedom for mankind in the history of the world. What was Churchill's comment? It's a terrible system. It's just the least bad of all the other ones. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. No, it's not. It's not easy in America. So you have to be able to be like me. Have faith if you want. Or you don't have to have faith. You can be agnostic, atheist, and that doesn't make you bad or wrong. Nothing illegal about that. I have faith I believe in God. I'm born a Catholic. Jesus Christ is my God. But also, I think my God's pretty secure where he doesn't want an 11-inch by 14-inch sign in every classroom building saying, "In God we trust." It just blows me away, the childlike mentality of lawmakers in Louisiana, not taking on the tough things, the hard things, not going against the lobbyists that line their pockets and actually doing what's best for the citizens, but doing this kind of crap and hiding behind religion, hiding behind God, insulting God. Jesus, God, whatever your faith, God doesn't want a sign in every Louisiana classroom saying, "In God we trust." And he doesn't go, "I'm smiling upon Louisiana, and I wish all the other states in the United States would implement this signage." I mean, I don't know about your God, but why would your God want that? And then these lawmakers, because they think like children, they think you stick a picture in front of someone, they could be that person. So if we put "In God we trust" signage in all the buildings, maybe, just maybe, a kid glancing over, daydreaming, sees and reads it, and it puts that thought in his brain. Can't cause any harm or damage. Yeah, it can. It's unconstitutional. Someone's going to sue. They're going to be proven correct, and all the signs are going to be removed. I want to be the state-hired sign maker, for crying out loud. I'll quit my job. Can I make these 11-inch by 14-inch signs, "In God we trust," knowing the state of Louisiana is going to buy hundreds of thousands of them, guaranteed? Just mind-blowing. How about a label on seafood saying "Product of China," with the largest font size equal to the largest font size on that product's label? Bernard Seafood, made in China, big sticker right on the back or the front, clear for everyone to see. Product of China, product of Taiwan. Can't get that done. I've been trying for a decade. Talked to House reps, senators, refuse to even make it a bill, because they're not concerned about that. They get money from the local people that own businesses that import seafood. The local people that are competing with local seafood people that are catching local seafood. The local guy or girl bringing in seafood, shrimp, crawfish from China, Taiwan, wherever, importing seafood. They have a strong lobbying effort, obviously much stronger than the local seafood fishermen. The needs of the many get outweighed by the needs of the few, and there's no label on these seafood products. The opposite. Products like Bernard's, where they're fooling you into thinking it's not a Chinese product. Oh, it's Cajun, it's Bernard's. No, it's not Bernard's. It's terrible that we can't protect our local seafood industry, our local fishermen, oyster fishermen, crabbers. It's unbelievable. Yet, pre-K to LSU grad school, in every classroom, an 11-inch by 14-inch sign, the law, "In God we trust." It's mind-blowing. It's a public school. There are lots of people in the public that go to these schools that do not believe in any God. They're atheist or agnostic, believe in a higher power maybe, don't believe in any higher power. More power to them, good for them. I have nothing against them. Anyone who believes in God and immediately judge someone that doesn't, like they're the enemy or they're not, or you're not going to be friends with them, whatever. They may have higher ethics, morals, integrity than you have. God, my God, might be in heaven ready to welcome them. They're coming in the first minute. Corey, you're going to wait a little while. Only in Louisiana, well, I shouldn't say only in Louisiana, only in Louisiana and a few other select states where religious zealots, evangelical types, go against America's Constitution. Period. End of story. There's no other way to interpret this. If you're going to put a sign up in every public school classroom that says, "In God we trust," you know what you're going to have next? It's inevitable. And I'll be talking about this within a week, in less than a month, before August is up. You're going to have some outsiders that have some crazy religion, like the spaghetti monster religion is one, or worse, like devil worshipers. And they're going to demand a sign equal in size, 11 inch by 14, that says, "The devil made me do it," or "All praise to the spaghetti monster." "In God we trust," in public schools in Louisiana. What part of the Constitution do lawmakers not understand? This is like a Jeff Landry gimmick, like one of his BS lawsuits that seems to, motivate voters, get them foaming at the mouth, yet cost the voters that are foaming at the mouth money. All this is going to do is cost taxpayers money. Instead of protecting fishermen with a "Made in China" sticker on seafood imports, we get an 11 inch by 14 inch side. In God we trust. I would have loved to have been in the committee meeting with the loser legislators. How about 10 inch by 12? No, we need to do 8 by 16. What about 11 by 14? Let's go with what Jimmy says, 11 by 14. That's a great size for the "In God we trust" signage for classroom. It wasn't enough that every classroom building had to have that signage. That was the law. That wasn't good enough. That unconstitutional law wasn't good enough. Now it's every classroom. Welcome to Louisiana, where we just don't care. God laughs at this, laughing at us. I give you free will to choose. You choose to not put a label on the seafood imports. You're not going to protect your own, and you're putting up a sign about me. I'm pretty secure. I don't need a sign.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
There keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
I grabbed a to-go order a couple of nights ago, and I'm driving home, and there's a little mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread in the bag, and I pull it open, and I pull off like the end, as we call it in New Orleans, the nose of the bread, and I eat that on the way home. But then I was like, it's fresh and good, but boy, it's so much better when it's heated up. So don't knock out that loaf in the car. So I got home and I was reheating a baked potato that I had ordered and some other stuff, and threw that loaf of Leidenheimer French bread in that oven. And then I pulled it out before everything else was ready. And I was like, I'm just going to have one little piece. And I broke off a little piece and had some whipped butter that's like room temperature, so it's just going to melt on that hot, crispy bread. I mean, the bread's like hot where, on your fingertips, hot. And then I put the butter on it and I eat it. And I'm like, wow, just so damn good. Crispy, where crumbs are falling all over, light, fluffy center, piping hot, the butter just melting on the bread right away. Just liquefying butter on that hot Leidenheimer French bread. I had to stop myself from knocking out that mini loaf, which is about 8 inches long. Perfect for like a small po' boy or sandwich. No, I was going to knock out the whole thing. And I was like, the chicken, the baked potato, the salad. Why don't you stop eating the bread so you can knock out the rest of your meal? Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company. Still baking that Leidenheimer French bread you love right here in the city of New Orleans for over 125 years. Since 1896. They're in their 3rd century. Served at the city's finest restaurants. If you're enjoying a high-quality New Orleans po' boy, it's got to be on Leidenheimer French bread. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Wide Open Wednesday means you're the show producer. Whatever you want to discuss. I bring it every day. You can bring it. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 766-9480. I've got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Southport Hall, River Road at the Parish Line. What was the original use of this building? We got that answer a few days ago. Casino. Right down the street from Southport Hall. Jefferson Highway at the Parish Line. That Lowe's across the street, a Salvation Army store. What was the Salvation Army store's original use? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Area code 504. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. He's Louisiana born and raised, a blues legend who for the last 65 plus years has lived in Chicago, has a blues club named after him. But he's from Louisiana, actually worked at LSU in Baton Rouge for a little while. He was in Louisiana till he was 21. Learned to play the guitar. His music is Louisiana. He's Louisiana. He's known as a Chicago blues legend, and he should be. But he's a Louisiana native and a Louisiana blues legend as well. Monday was his 87th birthday. He's a man. It's a male blues guitarist. So he's a guy. Give me his name, and I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Did I just give a ridiculous hint a second ago? Yes, I did. Hey, no internet device, no Google, no Yahoo, no DuckDuckGo. You either know the answer or you don't. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Where does the mighty Mississippi River start? Where's the first drop of agua come from? Where does the mighty Mississippi River start? We know where it ends, the Gulf of Mexico, south of the city. Where does it start? I guess a third of it ends in the Atchafalaya River. World's oldest continuously operated streetcar line. I'm looking for the specific line. World's oldest continuously operated streetcar line. Give me the name of that, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the city's premier day spa experience, the Woodhouse Day Spa. 5 area locations to choose from. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. I have faith. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And like you, if you're a faith person, you have that personal relationship. God and Jesus is not worrying 1 minute about "In God We Trust" signs in Louisiana classrooms. But then again, these are probably the same folks that think like Jesus has a special place in his heart for America or the United States and things like that. Like Jesus recognizes we're the best country and freedom and all this. I don't think, millennium, indefinite time, millions of years. You think Jesus is worrying about the United States of America as a country and its people as Americans? I don't know. I just kind of look at things in a bigger way. I don't look at them, me, this moment right now. I try to imagine like what Jesus, my faith, my God, what he would be thinking, what he would be doing, how he would act. I'm not saying he doesn't like Americans or us, but my God, it's so silly. But that's how Americans think. That's how folks with religion think. They think their religion's the best. It's the one God approves of. It's the one that's number one. It's the one that it's most applicable. It's the most righteous. It's number one in God's eye. I mean, it's just insane. God's not picking religions, which one's the best, which one's not. He's not picking countries, which one's the best, which one. I like the United States better than North Korea. I like Switzerland better than France. I like England better than the United States. I mean, are you kidding me? What kind of childlike thinking is that? Seriously. In God we trust signs. It wasn't good enough in Louisiana to have them in every classroom building. What a joke. There's got to be tens of thousands of classroom buildings in Louisiana from kindergarten through grad school and college, public school buildings. Tens of thousands of them. That wasn't enough for the classroom building, to have an "In God We Trust" sign, which was the law. Now it's every single classroom where the students are. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of them in Louisiana. I want to be the guy who has the contract to make the signs with the state. Who is that person? Who is that person hiding behind God, the legislators that created the law, and they're making the money off of us doing that? and then kicking back the politician that gave him the contract. Yeah, I want the In God We Trust 11-inch by 14-inch signage contract. Yeah, my God's really secure and doesn't care 1 minute. I mean, if some legislator's going, man, that puts me in the good graces of God, you're delusional. Maybe it puts you in the bad graces of God, where he's like, I don't need the signage. Do something else. Protect the seafood industry. That Johnson guy with the font size of made in China equal to the largest font size on the label. Bernard Seafood, made in China. So it's blatant. It's obvious. There's no searching on the label where the seafood came from. You're protecting the seafood industry and the South Louisiana folks that work it, most importantly. Instead of something like that, we get In God We Trust in every classroom, like, let's try to influence the students. We're dealing with children at a legislative level that come up with this stuff. Pathetic. That's why Louisiana's last. And God knows it. Hey, TV audience, see you tomorrow, straight up 4:00. No, God gives us free will to choose. We choose this. He laughs at us. He laughs at us. God's like going, boy, Louisiana, I got a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart. They put signs up saying, in God we trust in the classroom. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember those legislators that put my name out there. When death time comes, I'm going to remember them. It's got to be delusional. I believe in God. I'm a Christian, Catholic. Jesus is my God. This is unconstitutional. And my God, Jesus, doesn't even want it, is laughing at it. Boy, in Louisiana, we are like in kindergarten. Seriously, we're in nursery school. It's a joke. We don't want to compete against other states. New Orleans doesn't want to compete against other cities because competing and winning is hard. Being second rate and lazy and not even competing, not even knowing where the game is, what the game is, much less where it's being played, that's easy. Checking out of life, kind of looking the other way, that's easy. In God we trust signs by our legislators, that's easy. A sticker that says made in China on seafood imports, that should be easy. Boy, Louisiana, we get exactly what we deserve. Speaking of a joke and New Orleans, the mayor is going on some softball radio station tomorrow. She was talking about it, so I think I have an idea of which station it is. Easy questions, her friends. They're not going to do their job. They don't take this microphone or camera, seriously. They don't realize there is a responsibility when you're in front of the microphone. No, and the mayor will go on and will receive a bunch of softball pitches. The host, probably a former FM disc jockey, will be lobbing those softball pitches, totally selling out and oblivious to it. No, a lot of folks in this business don't have the wherewithal, the means to be in this business. I'm not saying I'm like an F-16 fighter pilot. It's talk radio. It's television. It's not rocket science. I'm not performing heart surgery at Ochsner. I get it. But some folks shouldn't be anywhere near the microphone because they don't take the responsibility seriously. They will bring on the mayor of New Orleans and just softball pitch the mayor. No, and then, boy, there's a problem in inner city America. I know in inner city New Orleans, in the black community in the inner city, like at the barber shop, you can be critical of black folks all day long. Outside the barber shop, especially in front of white people, do not be critical of another black person. And it is a fault. It is a problem. It is a personality disorder, a bad trait. I don't know what it is, but it is a loss of credibility. It is a responsibility of any person, white, black, Asian, Latino, to be fair and objective, to see things clearly. Not, I got to protect my own and hide information or restrict information. Now, when there is a recall, and look, Eileen Carter, I was honored the other day on Twitter. Like, just be quiet. The recall was a failure. And she texts me, why all this? I'm like, it's not personal. It's business. The recall was terrible. When 15%, like 1 in 8 black folks sign the recall, come on. I mean, white New Orleanians, black New Orleanians, we get exactly what we deserve. Republican, Democrat, fixated on those labels, we get exactly what we deserve. 1 out of 8 New Orleanians that were black felt compelled to sign the recall of LaToya Cantrell. Let me tell you something, seriously. Do I care that LaToya Cantrell's mayor? Yeah, I do. I'd like a better person for New Orleans to do better. But also, I'm like a lot of successful New Orleanians, black, white, whatever. We build a moat around what we're doing. We do it in spite of New Orleans. And I don't give a crap, really, if LaToya Cantrell's mayor or not. I'm going to get mine no matter what. I'll be doing this show. I'll have a bunch of clients and advertisers. I'll be making a decent living. I'll be making money regardless of who the mayor is. I'm not waiting for government to pull me off a rooftop. I'll evacuate myself when there's a storm. So I'm not relying on the city to make my way. And a lot of successful people, black and white, build the moat around themselves and do it in spite of the city. So for me, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, mayor or not, recall effective or not, doesn't affect me all that much. I'm going to make it in spite of this mayor and do well. But for so many people in New Orleans that rely on a well-run city for them to do well, that don't have the wherewithal to have a moat, that work for the man or work for whoever, that have restrictions, that need a well-run, well-oiled machine, a well-run city, they're the ones getting screwed. And it's mostly inner city black folks. It is a vicious catch-22. It's like black or white that vote for like the Edwin Edwards type. You're never going to get ahead voting for these characters that you live vicariously through, that you know are deviants and aren't looking out for you. Black folks in New Orleans, it's, I'm going to vote for the black candidate. I'm going to back LaToya Cantrell because she's black. She's one of us. The white person, they're against her. I got to be against. That mentality is insane in 2023. Insane. Think for yourself. Don't think as a group. I don't give a crap what white people do. I don't like Donald Trump. That would be like the white thing to do, I guess, right? If you're black. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't go by what's white, or I go by what's right. No, it's 2023. Black New Orleanians that back LaToya Cantrell no matter what, because she's black, she counts on you for doing that. And me, I don't give a crap. I'm going to succeed regardless. So if you think it's just some kind of trick to, man, I'm trying to get black people against the mayor. No, I'm trying to get black people to act right when it comes to being critical of other black people that are failing everyone. And I feel obligated to protect the black mayor. That's pathetic. That's terrible. 15% of the recall signatures were black people. I'm black well, if I were black in New Orleans, I wouldn't feel I'm embarrassed to be black, because I'd be like, I don't have anything to do with those black people. Just like I happen to be white and male and heterosexual. All three of those things entirely beyond my control. I had nothing to do with it. So to be on the side of white people or heterosexuals or, males, why would I do that? What would compel me to fight for white or male or heterosexual? Because I was born that way. I have nothing to do with it. My mind, my thinking, what ideals, integrity, honesty, whatever I'm going for, my morals, my ethics, none of it has led me to being male, heterosexual, or white. So what would compel me to fight for those things? Man, that guy's white. I better fight for him. Give a crap. I might root for Larry Bird because he's white and he plays in a predominantly black NBA, just like I'd root for the black hockey player that plays in a white NHL. But I don't care about white. I'm not fighting for white. I'm not fighting for male. I'm not fighting for heterosexuality. Do not care because they were beyond my control. But in New Orleans, black folks won't be critical of other black folks. Black folks will embrace the mayor no matter if she's the devil because she's black. That's a problem. Do white folks do the same damn thing? Of course. Look who's endorsed for governor in the state of Louisiana, Jeff Landry. Of course it works both ways. But the mayor going on softball radio, the hosts, I mean, it's 2023. Well, one thing that's good, we've moving the needle so far. There's so many black folks that see through all that crap, that don't like this mayor, that won't listen to that interview, that if they stumble on it, they'll realize it's just softball pitches. That's terrible. Alvin Kamara missing today's practice. He jumped on Gail Benson's private jet, reportedly, flew to New York, and had a meeting with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, trying to chat one-on-one with Goodell to maybe lessen the penalty of this anticipated suspension. I said 6-game suspension. And I said the Vegas dropping it from a felony to a misdemeanor is irrelevant to the NFL. The only thing they like is the lesser charge means less in the spotlight. Good for the NFL. They'll embrace that. But as far as what discipline they hand down, they don't care what local municipality makes it a felony, a misdemeanor, wants him to serve jail time, lets him walk scot-free. They look at it themselves in their own vacuum, the video, the beatdown outside the elevator in Vegas, and they're going to give the penalty that they feel Alvin Kamara deserves. Right or wrong, that's how the NFL is going to act. I said 6 games. Fletcher Mackle says 3 games. He thinks if it gets any more than that, the NFL's out to get the Saints. And I disagree with that. I think Alvin Kamara, the standard of what the NFL does, Fletcher also thought the misdemeanor meant something, that Vegas, it pled down on misdemeanor, not a felony. I think that's irrelevant. The NFL goes by their own rules. Fletcher disagreed. But I will say this, and I'm not trying to, I'm still sticking with 6, even with Kamara going to New York. But that could only help. I don't think there's any way Alvin Kamara going to New York hurts his cause in the least bit. It can only help. And maybe he only gets 3 or 4 games because of it. And I will say I was wrong because I'm going to stick to what I originally said. I think Alvin Kamara is going to miss 6 games and we won't see him till probably November. I hope Fletcher Mackle's right. I hope Alvin Kamara's visit with Roger Goodell helps and it reduces the suspension to 2 or 3 games. That would be fantastic. Hey, Helm Paint and Decorating. When you want to paint in Metro New Orleans, you go to Helm. Do it once, do it right. Let them steer you in the right direction. You got that paint project? Stop putting it off. Why wait? Snap a photo with your smartphone of that paint project you've been ignoring. The pros at Helm will tell you everything you need to know to get that paint project done, including the supplies you need to get it done. And you can pick your Benjamin Moore colors with their help. I painted my house about a year ago. Christy Helm helped pick out the colors. She knows what she's doing. Joey Helm, Keith Main, Ronnie Helm, they helped me pick out the level of Benjamin Moore paint I was using. I selected Regal Select, which has a lifetime warranty, which means I'll never, ever have to paint my house again. But because it's affordable, I can change the color in 5 or 10 years if I want. Helm Paint and Decorating, a no-brainer. For over 50 years, let them steer you in the right direction. Get that paint project completed. Helm Paint and Decorating. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Yeah, you right. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Where does the mighty Mississippi River start? One of our trivia questions. I thought the mighty Mississippi River was the longest river in America. Apparently, the Missouri River is 1 mile longer than the Mississippi River. Montana to St. Louis, 1 mile longer than the Mississippi from a little north of St. Louis to the Gulf. I was shocked by that. 1 mile difference. The Missouri River proponents must be all giddy. The oldest continuously operated streetcar line in the world. Name the specific line. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Every day this program on radio, television, YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebraw. Right on the corner, right on the price. Located on the car corner of Williams Boulevard and I-10. Home of the big store, Lamarck Ford for nearly 50 years. Number 1 in the region, Lamarck Lincoln. Number 1 Lincoln dealership in the state. And now across the parish by the river, under the Lamarck umbrella, Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, the legendary truck and SUV dealership. Every day this program is brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Louisiana public classrooms from pre-K through grad school. In God We Trust signage, state law, every classroom, not classroom building, which was the law and which was ridiculous. How many classroom buildings are there in Louisiana in public schools? Thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands. There must be north of 100,000 classrooms in Louisiana from pre-K through post-grad college. The sign must be 11 inches by 14 inches. I don't know about your God, but mine, Jesus Christ, is laughing at Louisiana. Hey, why don't you do things? I give you men and women free will to choose. Why don't you choose wisely and do things that truly benefit the state? I'm God. I don't need signage advertising me. I don't need any kind of influence over the kids. I influence you. You influence your kids. Don't need any signage in public classrooms. I like the United States of America. I like their Constitution. Doesn't this go against the Constitution? Freedom? I don't know about your God, but mine, Jesus Christ, I'm pretty sure that's what he would think. I'm pretty secure with myself. You're not getting any bonus points. I'm not looking favorably upon Louisiana and their legislators for coming up with a law with the In God We Trust sign. But I swear, I think legislators think that. Puts me in the good graces of the Lord. There's no negative here. That's the thought. Well, the negative is someone like me who believes in God, has faith, Jesus Christ is my God, thinks it is blatantly unconstitutional. Beyond unnecessary. God doesn't want it. I don't want it. And most of the citizens, I would think, if they thought about it, wouldn't want it. Because you know what it's going to lead to? You remember the Slidell courtroom with the Jesus Christ picture on the wall? It was either remove it because it's unconstitutional, or everyone can put up their picture. Slidell chose to leave it. Now there are like dozens and dozens of photos. I can put my photo up on that wall. It's just silly. Is Jesus recognized at that court? No, he's watered down with a bunch of other people. It's a court. Folks that believe in Jesus shouldn't get an edge, and that shouldn't be the message. Would you want to go to the court and Muhammad's up there? Wow, the Islam leader? My God, Corey, of course not. Why? What's the difference? You have to be able to think beyond it. That's how God wants you to think, and that's how the American Constitution requires you to think. This is against the law. Someone's going to sue, and either the signs are going to be removed at taxpayer expense, or the person that sues, their signage is going to go up in every single classroom in Louisiana. And the sign's going to be like, the devil made me do it, or believe in the spaghetti monster as your God, or something like that, something ridiculous. Separation of church and state. It's pretty obvious. This is the opposite of it. It's pointless. It's a waste of time. It doesn't put us in the good graces with God. It's not, hey, how does it hurt? You're putting God on a sign and the kids can maybe absorb it. Those that don't believe in God or choose not to don't have to. Then what else do you put on the wall for the kids to absorb? The spaghetti monster? I don't want that nonsense in classrooms. Or the devil made me do it, or Lucifer is king. I don't want any of that in classrooms with kids. Neither should the in God we trust signs. And I'm a believer in God, have faith. I just don't get it. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is open till 9:30. Lamb chops, shish kebab, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides like tabbouleh, baba ganoush, hummus, mujedra, and more. Fresh, authentic, large portions, priced right. Lebanon's Cafe for dinner.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Kind of got a mild day. Didn't hit the high 90s, kind of our normal high today. About 92, 93 degrees. Feels like only 100 instead of 98 feels like 112. That's a major difference. But it is still summer. It's August. We're barely midway through the summer 2023. We've got at least 8 more weeks, at least 2 more months, all of August, all of September. We really won't get out of the 90s where we're not hitting 90 anymore, where the highs are in the 80s and going down until October. You still need an AC, ace in the hole if you're having air conditioning problems. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. Keeping you comfortable. Service today, every day. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. You need air conditioning help? NOLAAC.com. What's that, Blue Boy? NOLAAC.com. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Blue Boy, you're incredible. How do you know that? Fair and honest, Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts that come immediately. NOLA.com. Blue Boy, you're great. What else, buddy? See you mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.